Are you creating your own emotional pain? Welcome to a little bit of Bear Wisdom with BooBoo and Lou. I'm your host, Lou Lagan, mindset coach and mentor. Are you creating your own emotional pain? I was looking back through some podcasts and listening to some podcasts, and this was one by Hal Elrond a little while ago. And it builds on a concept that I believe in, which is we are responsible for our own feelings and emotions. And that phrase that we sometimes find ourselves using, saying, she made me feel like, he made me feel like. No, nobody can make you feel like something or make you feel something. That's our decision. We choose how to react to something. We choose how to feel. But this takes the concept a little bit further, and it looks at how we react to external events and how we create our own emotional pain as a result. Now, Hal talks about a situation when he was 20 and he was involved in a serious car accident. And he references the fact that at that point he was told that he wasn't going to walk again. And once he accepted that fully and unconditionally, there was peace because he wasn't resisting the reality of not being able to walk anymore by wishing that he could. So once the acceptance was there, that emotional pain was released. And whilst I think that takes an incredibly strong mindset to be able to do that, I've been struggling with the concept in terms of how we apply that to other circumstances within our lives, and one in particular around grief. And I know when he's talked about this, he's talked about how he's applied it to grief. And it's that same process of wishing that the reality was something different. And once that resistance to the reality is gone, then there's peace. And I'm struggling with that, I have to be honest. I look at my own situation and I invite you to do the same with yours, because I'd really be interested in your thoughts around this. So thinking of your own circumstances and any loss in your own lives. I look at the loss of my mum and dad, and both very different in terms of how they passed, but at the same time, whilst there was shock or sadness, and there still is emotional pain around that, I'm not resisting, I'm not consciously resisting the reality. So it's made me wonder. I started to wonder what it is I may be resisting, or where that resistance is coming from. I wonder if it's perhaps something that's at a subconscious level. I started to explore that, thinking of, am I wishing that they were still here? Well, no, I'm not. I know that they are moving on to the next stage of their existence, and it would feel very naive of me to wish that they were still here, particularly as, mum died 11 years ago and dad 19 years ago. But then I began to wonder, am I subconsciously perhaps wishing for a time when we were all together and fit and healthy? Or is it those I wish I'd done, or I wish I'd said, or I wish whatever it may be? One of the biggest regrets I have with my dad is that I never got him to write a book. I never managed to get him to write down all the stories that he used to tell us. But there isn't emotional pain associated with that element. It's a regret, but there's no significant pain. So it's made me wonder, saying that phrase again, I've started to wonder what it is that I'm wishing was different to the reality. It's intriguing me. And I'm not quite sure where I am with it. I feel at some level I agree with the concept, but I haven't quite found my way through it yet. It's something I'm going to continue to explore. And I'd really be interested, as I say, in your thoughts on it, in terms of how you feel about that. That initial statement, we're responsible for our own emotional pain, irrespective of what that situation is externally or what somebody has said to us or done. We are the ones that are responsible for the emotional pain that comes as a result of it. I found that quite hard to take on board initially. But I do agree to a certain level with it. I'm going to have to explore it further, I think, to just dig a bit deeper around it. And one of the things that comes across very strongly through Hal's work and also through mine is this doesn't mean that you stop yourself feeling that emotional pain. It's important to feel what it is you need to feel. I guess it's when it reaches a point where we become stuck or it's getting in the way and preventing us from living our life that it then becomes something that perhaps we need to consider releasing. So quite a deep bit of thinking going on here for our little thought for the day. Whatever you're up to today, have a wonderful day. Look after yourselves and remember to have a little bit of silliness.